Hello again. I kind of said in my last video that I was going to do another video in regards to Jackson's daycare experience. So Jackson is 17 months and I have been thinking about putting him in daycare probably for the last few months. I started actively investigating different childcares in my town back in January, and I'd heard, different things from my friends sending their kids to daycare, and it seemed very interesting. I was very hesitant because, I have been a full-time mum, and I only started working like 6 months ago and leaving him only with one other person, that's his grandmother. So putting him in someone else's care, the idea of that kind of freaked me out a little bit, and of course I want to be the primary care holder of him and spend as much time I can. But at the end of the day, it got to the point where Jackson is of an age now where he is wanting a challenge in learning and trying new things. So, and I mean, I can provide that at home, but I wanted to also allow him to get that experience somewhere else in a different environment and challenge himself and get him out of that comfort zone of just being at home all the time. I love to take him out to the park and to the indoor playground with other kids, and then he loves seeing other kids, and he just lights up when he hears little girls. Like, he'll just go up to them and either give them a hug or just smile. So it really melts my heart when I see him playing with other kids. So it's been a big thing for me to investigate what's around. So pretty much I'll do a pros and cons at the end, like a summary type thing, but I'll kind of tell you my experience with how we ended up getting him into childcare and what the process was. So back in January, I went and looked. I physically drove around with Jackson, in the morning, because I knew then that wasn't their sleep time, that's kind of like their playtime, and I wanted to kind of see what the environment was like and the atmosphere of the place and the feeling of it and the vibe. So I took Jackson around myself so I could get a feel for the staff and how they would approach us as we came in, and I was looking for the little things of, were they smiling at Jackson and I, and did they make Jackson feel welcome even though we, weren't going there yet. But I want him to have a really good experience of wherever he goes. So first impressions definitely, are important. And by the end of it, I think I scoped out like 10 or so places, and I'm so happy that I did, because if I was just going by people's recommendations or what I'd seen on the outside, I wouldn't have, made an educated, proper parental decision right for Jackson anyway. So the first place, wasn't the first place, I think it was like a couple places into it, I found this place where he's going now, and it's really good. It's actually a community centre, so it's a community-based place, and it's the only place in the town that is still left. So pretty much all the funds go into the centre and go into resources and the playground, whatever else, and there's like a working bee for parents to come in, and Wade and I are really interested to get involved with the centre. So that kind of, opened my eyes a little bit to the centre and what they stand for. Also, what I liked was, as soon as I got into the room, it was all ventilated, like it was air conditioned, but all the windows and doors were kind of open, screened obviously, and there was fresh air, and it was really cool. And where I am, it gets really hot, so it was really kind of a nice, relaxing, cool environment. And I thought, well, if Jackson's staying here, I don't want him to be in a stuffy, air-conditioned room. Also, they do a scrapbook each day, and, well, they have one scrapbook, and they kind of put notes in there and pictures in there and what they do each day, so I can come back and go through it. And they also have like a digital camera screen where they take photos, and I can have a look through there to see, what Jackson got up to through the day. They have a music guy that comes on a Tuesday, because that's the days that he's going, and he specifically comes in and plays music to the kids. And when I was scoping out the place, this is what they told me, and I was like, wow, this is great, because Jackson loves music. He takes after his grandpa, my dad. My dad owns like a music store, so like a brass and woodwind, and he always plays and sings guitar to Jaxon, and Jaxon just absolutely loves it. So it's in his blood, definitely. So that kind of attracted me to it. As soon as he got there, you know, I put him down, and my hair just keeps wanting to poke out. I put him down, and you know, straight away he went over to the toys, and he felt comfortable. I could tell that he felt comfortable there, and he wasn't wary of anyone, and there were kids there, and the kids seemed really lovely, weren't any little hooligans. I mean, they're, you know, young. Can't expect them to be little rat bags already, but the room that he's in actually is like 18 to 24 months, and Jackson's only 17 months, so I think they kind of gather if he's like a bigger baby or a smaller baby, or how, you know, he is, if he's confident in the room, that they kind of judge on if he should go down the baby room or the toddler room. And I had a look outside, and they had actual playground structures, something different to what I can just put up around home. That's what I wanted, something a little bit different and stimulating for him, to be able to go there and have fun and have something different. I mean, I went around to some daycares, and they were just dodgy. They just had a few little bits and pieces spread out in the yard. There was no shade. This place has shade. The one thing I really liked about it was the back of it kind of wasn't facing onto the road at all. It was all shady and trees, and not any like close, you know, roads or neighbours around. So, you know, I was really tempted at that point in time. And they also have a chicken pen, so the chickens aren't in there. They're kind of on hiatus at the moment. I don't think they're getting eaten or anything like that, but the chicks actually, the little baby chicks, were in last week, and Jaxon got to have a bit of a touch, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, I left thinking, wow, okay, this is really good. I wonder what else is out there. And the only place that I came across that I really liked, it was a bit more professional. The centre wasn't a community based, it was like privately owned, so all the money that we put into the fees and different things like that go into a bank, and you know, it's not put in the centre. But the centre is, you know, a nice centre. It was air conditioned, there was no kind of air circulating through, so there's a bit of a smell to it, obviously, because you've got nappies and food and whatever else, and babies in general. The outside was okay, wasn't as good as the other place. I think the only thing that kind of trumped the first place was that they gave me a booklet full of information and what the centre stand for, and policies, and you know, what they hope to bring to the table for Jaxon and for kids, and just a bit more professionally run, and it looked a bit nicer from the outside, and it was right next to a police station, so obviously, you know, that has to come into it. And then yeah, so pretty much everywhere else didn't come close, and that was like out of 10 places, so there was a lot of kind of dodge ones out there. As far as fees go, we pay $70, and I had to go to Centrelink. It's like a, you know, an Australian-based place where you can get help from the government in regards to money, and we have to still get like a CRA, customer reference number, for Jaxon to enter ChildCare, so it's on their databases. And some people, like, obviously it depends on what your income is, some people get like maybe 20, 30, 40% off the $70. We only get like 3% because of wage. So, I mean, obviously, you know, because we probably earn a little bit more than other people, we shouldn't expect a big discount or anything. But apparently quarterly you get some money back, like 50%, or I don't know what it is. So I'm not too worried about it. You know, what he gets out of it is going to far outweigh the money. He's only going 1 day a week at the moment. I've kind of put him on the Tuesday because that's when now I've changed my hours to a full day of work. Yeah, so that's Jaxon's childcare itself. So we ended up going with the first place. He went Tuesday, and I was really nervous and really excited at the same time. Got there, and they all welcomed him. You know, really, it was really nice, and we stayed there for about 20 minutes, and just meant to make sure, like, you know, he felt like his mummy and daddy were there, and they approved of the place, and so he could feel comfortable. I'm going to have a few photos at the end of this, so you can have a look. So yeah, we said goodbye. I asked the lady, you know, do we just leave or what? And she's like, don't leave, say goodbye, tell him that, you know, you love him, that you will be back later. So we did that, and he had a bit of a cry, like, I don't know for how long, but he kind of stopped after we left. And I only called once, and he was a little bit tired because his bedtime is normally at 9 o'clock in the morning, but we got there at like 9 o'clock, so he was due for his bed, but he had his Tigger there, and that's kind of his nice little cuddly friend, and he had to sleep for an hour and a half. He didn't have to go into a cot. He went onto a bed, and he ate his food during the day. And when we actually got there to pick him up, because I started work at 1 and finished at 9, and when Wade and I went to go pick him up, we spied on him a little bit, and he was out in the backyard. He was just peering through the fence, and kind of like watching him, and then he went up to the teacher, and he hadn't seen us yet, and he was like holding up his arms to her. She was kind of just swinging him, and yeah, so that was kind of cool just to see like what they do behind the scenes. And then as soon as he saw us, he gave her a big hug, and then he went over to Wade first. So I'm like there, like with open arms, like almost crying. And then he came over to me and gave me a big hug, and he just kept like wanting to go from myself to my husband, like hugging us, so it was really sweet. Yeah, so I am really excited to see what he's going to learn and the friends that he will get out of this, and obviously that he might pick up bad habits, or he might be a little bit more sick than often because there's obviously kids germs, but at this point in time I'm really excited about the whole experience. The next day actually he was mumbling and talking a lot more, because Jaxon's not the biggest talker. So that was kind of exciting. Yeah, so obviously the cons, I don't get to spend time with him, and he's in a different environment, but I think he's going to learn to love it after a while. I think next week he's going to cry a little bit more, because he knows, okay, this is what happened last time when I came to this place. Mum and Dad left me. So it's only 1 day a week, but we might bump it up to 2, later on. But yeah, so that's his childcare experience. If you have any questions regarding childcare, and if you're wondering about fees, or if it's right for obviously if it's right for your kid or not. But yeah, so that's what we're doing with Jaxon, and yeah, so we'll chat to you again. I'm gonna just put a few more photos on here of what's happened now in our week, and a few photos from the daycare, and yeah, so we'll chat to you soon. Hopefully the next one is another TTC update and blood test results. So have a good weekend, and we'll chat to you soon. Bye.